2, we're doing a presentation on executive education where we are giving HTTP for alumni. So our course title is Course Structure for 2-week HTTP on Data Science. So basically we are considering alumni will not known advanced topics like big data, machine learning, then artificial intelligence, then visual analytics, reporting and advanced tools. So we are considering they are now knowing the basic concepts like DBMS, data warehouse and small data mining concepts. And in addition to that, we are taking the alumni to higher level from start. So this is our course content. We are divided into total 7 modules. First module is introduction to database concept. Even though they are knowing and they know database and data mining, we are giving a bridge course for all alumni in 2 days. So module 1, that is introduction to database concept for 2 days. Module 2, data warehousing and mining for 2 days. Module 3, understanding of basic learning, machine learning and artificial intelligence for 2 days. Then 4th module is big data analytics and Hadoop for 2 days. Module 5 is predictive modeling. Once they know all data mining basic concepts, all machine learning concepts, artificial intelligence, big data and Hadoop concept, they can able to create a predictive model for real-time applications. Module 6 is preparing data for analysis and reporting. Predictive modeling is not enough. All managers want is some report kind of, some visualization, some reporting, and that we are taking care of in module 6 for 1 day. And the last one is we are explaining all this predictive modeling, reporting, and we are giving one case study to all the students by considering real-time analysis, real-time application, real-time examples. They will apply all these data mining, machine learning, Hadoop, and predictive modeling and reporting techniques on a case study, and they will finally do one small project. So these are our objectives. Students will be able to understand the techniques of data mining, machine learning, and big data. This is our course objective first. Second course objective, students will be able to apply and construct predictive model for real-time application. Third objective is students will be able to explore data and build reports for business intelligence. And all these course objectives are mapped with the course contents and model which I explained in previous slides. So module 1, introduction to database concepts. So here we are giving importance of data and business analytics. Then various DBMS fundamentals, various data models, DDL, DML, DMQL, segments with the help of SQL, and we are giving a practical sessions by structured query language. Our module 2 is data warehousing and data mining. So here we are giving basic concepts of data warehousing and mining. We are telling them what is KDD process, from pre-processing to extracting the knowledge from data. So we are telling them with the help of examples how to process, how to apply a particular algorithm, which algorithm is better for our particular data, and finally how to extract the knowledge from the given real-time example. Then OLAP example, how to extract a slice, dice, rotate, pivot, all these examples with the help of online analytical tools. And finally, we are also telling them students how OLAP is different from OLTP, why OLTP is not sufficient for data warehousing, and why we are moving forward to OLAP. Then we are focusing on data mining techniques, that is classification and clustering, and association rules. When the KDD process is applied, when a particular sample given data is given to you, so when you apply a classification algorithm, when you apply a clustering algorithm, when you apply association algorithm, what kind of knowledge you extract, you will get from that particular data, and which algorithm is actually applicable for a given real-time data. So for that we are focusing on all the data mining techniques, and we can demonstrate these all concepts using SAS Enterprise Guide and Enterprise Miner. Our third module is understanding of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now students are thorough with all the basic concepts related, which are needed to understand or grasp knowledge of machine learning, that is various classification, clustering, and all the basic tasks. So here we are focusing on introduction to machine learning. What are the steps required in designing machine learning application? Then dimensionality reduction and reinforcement learning. Students knows supervised learning and unsupervised learning, but that is a new concept which is required in nowadays. We are in a big data world where reinforcement learning and dimensionality reduction plays a major role, because if you consider our Twitter data or Facebook data, the data is increasing tremendously. The number of attributes and number of variables, number of records added per seconds. I will give you just one statistics. Per second, 200 billion of tweets added in our Twitter data set. So just we can consider how big this data is. So for that we need new concepts like dimensionality reduction and reinforcement learning, wherein we can utilize these techniques and we can reduce the dimensions, reduce the data set to a small extent. So here we are going to demonstrate this using practical implementation like CART, SVM, principal component analysis. Okay, and these tools are available. We are not studied in this course, but Sumitra sir yesterday only mailed me SAS via Enterprise. In SAS via Enterprise, we have all these concepts: PCA, dimensional reduction, reinforcement learning, and topic modeling, which we can explain with practically to the students. The next module is module 4, Big Data Analytics and Hadoop. So here we are giving introduction to big data, why big data is needed, what are the uses of big data contributors and generators. Then we are focusing on Hadoop fundamentals, SDFS, MapReduce and Engg. Once students will thorough with all these basic concepts and basic fundamentals of Hadoop, we are going to demonstrate all this with the help of Hadoop implementation using Cloudera and Engg. Our module 5 is predictive modeling. Once students know all the basics of machine learning, big data, we are focusing on predictive modeling, because predictive model is very important in order to do automatically all the manual tasks. So for that we are focusing on model design. We have already seen in these 2 days how to design a model, how to create a model using enterprise miner. That is all we are focusing on: time series analysis, decision tree, neural networks, soft computing, all concepts. And also we are going to compare all these models by doing in enterprise miner. As we have already seen, we can consider data, then we can input data, then we can apply a number of algorithms, and finally we can compare all such models with respect to comparative parameters of all with respect to all the models. Module 6 is preparing data for analyzing and reporting. One picture is better than thousand lines of words. So that's why we are focusing on preparing data for analysis and reporting, because at the end the manager wants some statistics in visual formats, some reporting formats. So that's why we are focusing on this. So we are giving here introduction to visual analytics, administrating and managing the data, visualization and exploration, various way for demonstrating, for converting your raw data, your results into visual formats. Then designing reports and viewing reports. So for this we are using practical implementation like SAS Visual Analytics for visualizing. Our next model is, as already told you, our last aim is when students, these are our alumni, they were not knowing all new concepts. We are introduced with them all the new concepts. We factor away, and as we decided, we are giving half-day theory lectures and afternoon sessions. We are going to demonstrate practically. The students are thorough with how practically they are using machine learning, data mining, big data, Hadoop and visual analytics tools. So they can really now use these tools in order to do some real-time projects. So we are going to give them one case study like market basket analysis, stock exchange, power grid, then predicting results of a particular institutes. So they can use, they can even visualizing the reports of results of each and every semester, of each and every year, stream wise, batch wise, and course wise. So that is, and these are our references for DQMS, Scott Mamate, for data mining techniques, Hank Campbell for machine learning techniques, Peter Harrington, and of course we can take support from www.support.sas.com. So that's what from our side. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah. I have a question. You can go ahead.
Go ahead and
First preference, yours.
you always ask me.
You told you're planning HTTP for the alumni.
Yes.
But as AICT is concerned, HTTP is only for the faculty.
But as Sumit sir given title, we students for alumni we have for enhancing their knowledge. As per the guidelines we have.
But you should have not told it as an HTTP.
That's the only concern. STTP cannot be for the
Cannot be for the student. It's only for the faculty.
We are giving the training to the anybody. It's not necessarily we are giving training only for the faculty.
No, but you have mentioned that it is HTTP. Short-term training program is never for students.
It's a nomenclature treat.
It's a nomenclature. Basically, it's a rule.
Because I told you the first time out I have heard, because I'm not from academia, so I wasn't ever on the name. It's called STTP. What do you think? That's what I believe.
Even for industry experts, for example, this can be implemented even for industries people like.
15 days curriculum. That's why we are giving this name.
No, means you can give us some other curriculum, like some nomenclature.
Okay.
See, because you explained in terms of students, what the students want. But as your crowd changes now, your thought process changes.
Every person is student throughout the life. The student when he is learning new things.
The level of student depends.
I agree with the point.
Fair enough.
We all are students here, but the level is different.
Okay, fine.
John?
Yeah, so the preparing data for analysis and reporting. So what I saw that you are having only all visualization tool out there. So you are not really preparing the data, you are only visualizing the data in that module. When we say preparing data, what we are basically meaning is that we are trying to identify the problems in the data.
Yes,
We are
first data integration which we taught. We can consider that over there.
So the data quality tools is something which will help you to prepare your data for analysis and reporting.
Exactly.
So the title was preparing data, but the content was all about visualization. So that is
Visual analytics, the first component. So we were considering
Data building.
that for extracting the data, extracting required column in that.
Data builder and visual analysis.
Using data builder.
the visual analytics data builder is basically to join some data or subset some data. Okay, but it is not about identifying what problems the data has. Okay, so it's not a data integration or a data quality tool as such. Okay. Secondly, for OLAP, what is the tool that you all will be using for building an OLAP cube? To construct an OLAP cube, how will you be doing that?
We can use Cognos, we can use RapidMiner.
So are these freeware? Are these
RapidMiner
vendor?
is open source. Cognos is not open source, but RapidMiner is open source. RapidMiner we can use for creating OLAP cube.
Okay. But my experience with the industries where I have gone and conducted training is that nowadays nobody talks about building OLAP cube. Okay. So in fact, people have gone on the blog sites and they have written that building OLAP cube is traditional. Okay. The modern is on-the-fly hierarchies. Okay, because it has a problem that every day you require to refresh an OLAP cube. Think about a telecom industry, okay, or a banking industry. Even if the data is one day old, it's redundant. They will not look at that data further. Okay, if they have to spot trends and something like that, because you have 5 billion transactions taking place in a day, right? So your OLAP cube has to get refreshed on a daily basis, right? We do not want that to happen. So if we can have on-the-fly cubes, like with the tools such as, okay, you can have other tools also if they support, but such as visual analytics, okay, then you need not have to build the traditional way of OLAP cubes. Okay, so maybe that can be thought about. Okay, because since we're talking about alumni and they have already gone through maybe a university certified course, okay, where not always the technology is updated and modern with the requirements of the IT industry. Now, since you are saying that we want them to actually take a step forward and move into the current IT market, We have to look at what is the requirement in the current IT market and then have focus on that part as is.
That sounds good.
Right. I have one question. If you just go back a few slides, man. Just keep going back. Right. You can stop over here. This is about, the topic is about data warehousing and data mining. Do you feel, John, this is something that goes on in the industry right now? People who are specialized in data warehousing would be also the same people who would be going doing data mining?
Currently not.
Knowledge discovery and database. It is a basic concept for the data warehouse.
No, I'm talking about data mining. I'm talking, saying, the marriage of data warehousing and data mining in the current industry.
So earlier what used to happen is a very simple definition of data mining would be to query the data, okay, to extract the data and see the data. Yeah, but now the definition of data mining as such has changed in the modern market. It has changed. Okay, it is basically about modeling. Okay, comparing your models, coming out with the best model as such. Okay, so when we learnt and when we actually read through all those people who bought this concept, it was all about knowledge discovery, about querying and things like that. Like I gave you the example that I went to an organization where they called themselves data scientists, but they were still writing queries. Okay, so that is a definition which 2 years back some people were following, but now with the new definitions things are changing. So I will agree with Samit.
So that's what my concern was. Possibly you could just change that from data mining to pattern discovery. That's what you're trying to initially do, right?
Yeah, just this is a bridge course type.
Right.
Yeah, just
Other thing is, if you want to go to the next slide. Right, you're talking about this dimensionality reduction, and I only see principal components. Is there any other topics that are going to be talked about over there? I'm just assuming that this is just one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of machine learning, possibly you could include some more newer algorithms for decision trees, like
Yeah.
instead of
You
having.
can just listed some.
Right. Okay. If you just go to the next one, ma'am. No, next one. Just one word of caution over here that you have included time series analysis. I'm assuming that given that you have only listed Enterprise Miner over there as a tool, Enterprise Miner will not be able to do time series predictions. Okay, this is not a tool for that. So just wanted to point that out. And my general concern about the entire course is it's just 15 days, right? There's too many things over there. You think participants would be able to absorb all of those?
Yes, that's what we are just
You're just going to be giving them a flavor.
some examples like PCA.
Right.
We are not including more algorithms.
So basically, you're making them aware of what is going on.
Exactly.
So that in that way, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one of the point was.
Any other questions from faculty? I have a different kind of out of syllabus question. Yes. Not a part of the initial understanding. Normally, these courses are offered to alumni, as in your case. Now, why would an alumni come to you? For example, let's say, if you look at the market of executive education, and everybody, let's say if you're an alumni of NMIMS or let's say an alumni of ST Jain or Pillai College, after doing an engineering and or a management, would you also want to again come to NMIMS, or would you want to go to IIM Ahmedabad and get a tag of IIM Ahmedabad? Just a question. So, because these are all, it also has a glamour quotient attached to it, when you have a name of an ISB and all. So that's something you don't have in a hand. So hence, to overcome that, we have to give something which none of the other guys are giving first.
Yes.
It's a difficult, tricky thing, So at what price point will you position this? Have you ever thought of this? Because it's a very tricky answer in terms of, there is no right or wrong answer here. But would you position an 8-day program or a 60-hour program at 10,000 or 1 lakh or 2 lakh? Because there's everything. There's an ISB which offers it at 10 lakhs as well. There is a Kirti College offers it at 6,000 as well. So we have a huge spectrum because it's very important to have it positioned right because we teach positioning to our students. But this is something which we are creating it and we have to also position it in the market. So have you ever thought of something like that? At what price point did you ever think? Because if you are making something at this price,
We can, if you have one or two, maximize 5 license copies of each and every software.
no, assume you have the software. Assume is already set up. So we will not get into that finance of factoring the salaries and those cost components. Let's keep that aside. As a go-to-market price point, is there something which is there which you feel would attract something?
Yes, the course contents are good.
As a price point, I'm asking you a price point. At what? My question is again, I'm repeating it. At what price point do you believe this should sell in the market? Price of the course, let's say 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 4 lakhs. Market price, go to market price.
50,000.
50,000.
50,000 per student.
Because you also have Cloudera which will be giving it for free.
Yeah.
MOOCs will be there. So now I'll come to the second part of it. Everybody overestimates their knowledge. So do I, and I believe, we all believe that we are the smartest guy in the world, although we don't tell it on our faces. So that's a human tendency. So people who normally come for an executive education are of two types. One, who is looking for a job change. Second, who is forced to do it because there is a promotion attached to it. Third, he has nothing else to do in life, hence he is doing it because his friends are doing it. So these are categories of students, and there are very few who generally actually want to study. There's a few components to it. So it's seen you should always have something like an international global certification attached to this course. For example, what he takes away from this? One more certificate from a college where I've already done my engineering or management? Or can I put it in my CV that tomorrow if I have an offsite placement, that remains also valid in US? Just an input. There is no again no right and wrong. So if you make this program aspirational for him कि अगर आपने ये कर लिया, जैसे मेरी इंजीनियरिंग वैलिड रहती है मेरे पास अपने जिंदगी भर के लिए, can I also have something additional which will be also valid for me? Let's say if I go after even 5 years, that certification. It is very, very, very important, imperative to have that certification and then complement that certification with the wrapping of your complementing knowledge to make that thing more successful. Because it was not a part of the syllabus, so I just thought I'll ask you an out of syllabus question. Because it was not a part of it, so it's also our bad to tell you that. But just a word of caution, to see to it, if you teach one subject, teach it properly and complement it with some small dose of information. It makes it more sellable because executive education, just a way, the biggest earning thing for an ISB or for an IIM is equally difficult to sell for a smaller college as well. People do not want to come to it. It's a real life, maybe if you all have interacted with your admission team, with your team like that, there is a small pushback. Hence, these things might just complement it.
So, excuse me, actually I met one of the professors from IIT. He was telling they are not able to sell the short-term courses.
So you have an answer.
Marketing that professor he wrote a book on marketing research. He was telling real scenario what the problem is they are not able to sell the short-term courses in the market. There is a lot of difference in PGTM course and
so hence certifications they are trying to add on. So maybe you can complement that. Because enterprise minor will be an enterprise minor even if you teach, I teach and I teach, anybody teaches. If you can add something around it, wrap it around with something more, which is your credibility, which makes it separate. One of the days when we used to bring a Gora professor from US and sell it on this day, nobody comes anymore for that Gora. We all want to perform that way. Any inputs?
Yes, sir. You told that right way to the international certification. Can you guide us how we can do it and any idea from your side? What are with the right way to write it with some international certification?
So that's what teacher theory can keep a focus of let's say data mining what sir teaches. You have a data mining centric masters or a short-term program or an NDP and let that be the focus area and keep everything around data mining as a theory and maybe introduce things across and target purely data mining as its core focus and then have a certification around it.
Like certification, who will certify?
anybody, like SAS has for our things, you can have, if you're doing it for databases, you will have an Oracle, whoever it is, Point is that who certifies it? There are actually some OEM who does it. All these principal OEMs have their certification. Identify them first, whoever they are, and then go ahead and do it. Because if you do one more thing in R, there will be 20 more colleges who are doing it in R. So then where do you stand again in the same race? You launch a program, make a form control, and end up having just one registration, which will make it economically unviable for you to run the program. You have to give the money back. Lots of fees. Yes.
So, to answer that point, whichever vendor whose technology you are teaching, like I was working for NIIT for some time, and NIIT also was a Prometric center. Okay, so we used to purchase in bulk vouchers from Sun Microsystems for Java, from Oracle for the Oracle certifications, etc. So you get those vouchers when you purchase in bulk. You know that I'm going to have 20 registrations for this executive program. So let me have 20 vouchers of that particular vendor purchased, right? And then when the student is prepared, you just hand over the voucher. The student goes to the Prometric center or the Pearson VUE center, attempts the exam. Okay, so that's how you need to connect with that vendor whose technology you are using in your program.
So like in case of SAS we are using, so we can go for the SAS certification also.
Correct.
Like that.
Correct.
Anybody.
Yes. Cloudera also has the same certification.
So the paucity of time we need to move faster. So thanks a lot for this